Okay, we should be live now. Just give me a second to confirm. Okay, we should be live now. Just give me a second to confirm. Can someone make some noise, just so I can...
Noise? Yaha! Berserk! Aha!
Okay, we should be live now. Just give me a second
More
to
noise.
confirm.
Do you need more noise?
Noisy, noise, noise. Noise, 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 noise.
Noise, 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 noise,
Can
noise,
someone make some
noise,
noise?
noise, 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 noise. Noise.
Wenn liebe
Yaha!
Indier.
Berserk! Aha!
Alright,
He's
I
speaking
think we're
foreign
good.
again.
Okay, we should be live now. Just give me a second
More
to
noise.
confirm.
Do you need more noise?
I can sing in foreign if you would prefer.
Yes.
Definitely.
Wenn
Always sing
Liebe
it foreign.
in dir ist, dann klingt aus der Musik, wenn dein Moment ihr ist.
If you keep doing that, we may get copyright striked.
Well, it is from Tanz the Vampire, so maybe.
Okay, I think we are good to go. Let me just make sure my sound is reasonable. Oh, and everyone turn on push to talk if you haven't got it already.
Hey.
So hopefully that should work.
Okay.
Just need to remember to push the button now.
Okay, are we ready to go, everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, my thing was crap.
I guess that became a no.
Oh, I should have some armor, shouldn't I?
Whatever you start with in your character slot stuff.
Let me just double check.
Yeah, now I know what I did.
Yeah, okay, that's correct.
Oh, someone got Steam on in the background.
Sorry, I'll stop that.
Other streaming services are available. Or gaming services, rather. Oh, Andy, just to confirm,
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure I've understood this correctly. If I intend to cast a spell and the spell I end up getting is by chance ends up being a daily, even though I've already cast one that was a daily, does that mean that spell fails?
I believe that whenever you're given a choice, the choice will still give you the choice between an at-will and a daily. So, for example, every one of the iconics has one spell which is a at-will, one spell which is a daily. All of your attack spell, you're given one at-will, one daily, and same with your defensive spells. So if you've used your daily, you can't select the daily.
Oh, I was just counting them up. Yeah, I think you're right on that.
I know I'm right. I looked at the book.
Okay. We are live. I'll edit the beginning part of this out because we haven't introduced the podcast yet. But all right, I'm ready to go. Andy is ready to go. Ben, you good?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Cool. Richard,
Yep.
Steph,
Yeah, all good.
and Kieran.
Yep, all good here.
Okay. Okay. Countdown 5 seconds, and I will introduce the podcast. And welcome back, everybody, to the latest episode of Two Ashes You Say, the companion podcast of the Phoenix Games Club. I am Nick, your host, and joining me this evening for the first session of 13th Age is Chairman Kieran, Treasurer Andy, as well as members of the club, Ben, Richard, and Steph. How are we doing, guys?
Pretty good.
All good here.
Yeah. Be good.
There is we don't really have a preamble or any extra housework to do to communicate with you guys, so we will turn it over to Andy, who will be running the game, and yeah, let's begin.
Yep. So to start, I will be running the game. I think let's go around each of the players, and they can say hi and then explain their characters. Should we start from the top of the list, Kieran?
So I am playing Arialemna of Tome. So Tome is the name of the state that she belongs to. She is the High Elven Wizard, and the reason that she's adventuring is every lady needs a hobby.
Nick, I believe you're up next.
So you're going down that list, right?
Yes.
So my name is Constantine Al-Pasharan. I am a human mage who originally had intended to be a wizard. Unfortunately, Constantine's magical acuity is somewhat chaotic in that it is he has a lot of trouble with casting directed spells. His spells almost seem to come at random. Unfortunately, this has caused him to get kicked out of wizarding school and has taken adventuring through the Nexus as a new vocation to keep him alive.
Hogwarts was not the biggest fan of you.
No.
Then Ben?
Okay, I am playing Master Aaron Tempton of House Tempton, which is a one of the older noble houses, not the founding families of the states, but quite close to that. And one of my distant relatives decided to carry out a pact that would separate the blessings and curses of their future children. So the eldest child is usually blessed with good luck, the ability to create stuff, business skills, etc., etc. And the other one is sort of just an agent of chaos. So I am the second child, and so I've been sent as far away as possible from the States. And if they're going to send me far away, they might as well try and make something useful out of me. So I'm kind of being used to claim land for the Empire. And I'm playing a commander.
Then Richard?
A Naga necromancer, because in his homeland he lives near a Nexus of bones, which just spews out bones. And you might as well make use of a natural resource, right? He's at the Citadel because they came there to trade with a little trading ship, only everyone else just left him when he didn't get told to leave in time. Guess he was a bit too creepy for them, so it's like, right, let's go! He's presently doing adventuring because he's trying to get in with the noble houses so he can live a life of more comfort than having to work all the time. Opportunist, really.
Nice. I do like the idea of it's like, quick, he's not looking. Let's go. Set the ship off. Okay, then in which case, next up, Steph.
Hello, I'm playing Nada. She is a wood elf, not from the city, and has decided to travel, see what the world has out there. In her training, she's become a barbarian, and yeah, I think that's it.
Nice.
Oh, and she does have an evil. Well, she has a twin, and one is predicted to bring around the destruction of the world, and one is predicted to save it. Still not sure which one's which.
It's a question for the prophets and the scholars. I'm sure they'll come up with a suitable argument.
One day, I'm sure.
Okay, so first thing you will need to do is roll icon relationships. In which case, based on roll a dice, 1d6 dice for each of your icons. The main things you're looking for are 5s or 6s. If you don't get anything, let me know, and I'll, depending on, I might let you roll again, maybe, if I'm nice.
Okay, icons, those are written down.
Oh shit, sorry, ignore that second one.
Oh, you can roll them directly, can you? How?
Oh, my other two didn't roll.
That's because he had no dice in it. You put all 3 of them into the Marauder. Like, you kind of went all in on one thing.
Oh, so for those two, do I not
You don't roll the extra ones now. It's essentially you roll all the dices that you have, so to speak.
Ah, okay. So do I need to roll one more for Marauder?
You rolled 3. I see a 2, 1, and 4.
Okay, right.
How do you roll them though? Because I've clicked everywhere.
If you click on
Name.
icon relationships, the header.
Oh, I see. I understand. No.
You've got to highlight the left-hand circle thing with the cross, and then it will roll that relative one.
I have one highlighted with a cross. Let's try now. Okay, this isn't really going well already.
Roll20 is being like Roll20 for me. I can't even load my character sheet now.
5 and 6.
I've been having a similar issue for the past few minutes.
Yeah.
I managed to get back into the game now, so let me try.
Nick, do you want to roll yours again, just see if we can get something?
I can't believe that. I had 3 rolls and I missed all of them.
Steph too, because I'd like everyone to have at least one.
Ah, there we go. 611. Lol. Okay, so do I put a 6 in the heart icon here?
So if you can just update it on the icons handout that you guys have filled in.
Okay, who's doing that first? Because the last time we tried to fill it out at the same time, we deleted each other's...
Good point.
Andy, you do it and we'll give you the numbers.
Now getting a gateway timeout host error for Roll20.net.
Oh god.
Okay, that's not any of our fault. That's Roll20.
59 seconds ago, users may briefly experience issues not being able to load into a game. We appreciate your patience as we look to resolve this momentarily.
Okay, so is Roll20 actually not working for people?
I don't know quite what happened with the ones that I rolled, but it looks like it's still... Yeah.
I'm going to take the first one out of like you've somehow managed to have a relationship of 4 with a question mark.
Sounds like something Kieran would do.
Okay, I'll
I'm going
update
to roll
the
in the
icon thing now.
Discord just so you can carry on.
Well, this is odd. So, basically, it looks like I got a 5 with the scholar and a 6 with question mark.
Actually, I'm going to go off push to talk and go on to like just voice because it's very hard to update things when I'm like having to hold push to talk.
Fair enough. Just don't cause explosions and stuff.
I mean, I don't normally do that, so
Actually, for the DM, it's probably okay to have push talk off. Oh, I think I just got disconnected
great.
from
Oh,
Roll20.
my. Okay. Okay, so Kieran, what ones you got?
And a 6 with question mark.
Yep. So then Nick.
I got a 6 with Marauder.
Them.
And yeah, that was it.
Oh, I can see you got a 6 with Marauder anyway.
Yeah, Roll20's fallen over for me. God damn it, all the bloody days.
Okay,
No,
next
I
up,
cannot get
Ben.
into Roll20 now.
Did you manage to roll?
In lockdown.
We
It's
rarely
God.
have problems with it.
Yeah, this is yeah, I just got the gateway error as well. Roll20 is balked currently.
Or one with that.
So both with the scholar.
I think
And then
for me,
Listen,
Do you want to try re-rolling those? I'd like to have everyone to have at least something.
all three.
Yeah, all three.
I'm just gonna roll 3d6s because this character sheet is. Don't like it anymore. I have 1 6, so that last one would be the Enlightened. A 6 with, and it's a positive relationship.
Okay, with the Enlightened.
Correct, Mundo.
Any luck, Ben?
So, someone who actually has luck with rolling, can they roll for me? And then you just carry on.
I got 2 relationships, so 5 and a 6 if you
I'll
want.
just roll 3d6. Nope, I'm going to roll 3d6 again. Okay, there you go, Ben.
Hey.
Hope you're happy. I'm just going to go from top to bottom with your ones.
He got 2 6s for
Alright,
you,
what-
given that you cannot see what he
What
rolled.
order is it?
663.
Alright, there's that's the states and the broken chain.
Oh, I'm back in. Good.
Okay. So I'm going to track it here. If I remove a thing from it, it means that it's been used up. Just as if you use it, I will also remove it from there. Okay. So in which case, yeah, you are all on Citadel. Now Citadel is about a month and a half into its rotation between its two port towns in the northern hemisphere. These are named Und and Dro. So Und is over here. You can see my arrow thing. And meanwhile, Dro is over here. There's information about...
Are
Yep.
you on the GM layer with that? 'Cause
I
you can-
probably am on the GM layer. That explains why no one can see it. Okay. Oh, hang on. Have I accidentally put Citadel onto the wrong? Yeah, Citadel itself is on the wrong bloody layer. That's why as well.
Well, we can see the Citadel.
Okay. Why
This
is
is
it? Why is
the
it?
stream
Oh
window
wait,
could
no,
see.
I know what I'm doing.
The stream window
I
could
know what
actually
I'm
see you
doing.
clicking around there. So
Okay, so I should be on the right layer. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, here is Und, whereas over here is Dro. They are kind of like docking towns. Most trade comes to there, and the closest one will, when Citadel crosses its path, that is the point that the two trade, and that's usually how land visitors get to Citadel, usually going to one of these four. Obviously, there's only two on this map, unless they're going by airship. So Citadel's kind of, it's before the halfway point between the two of those. You all know each other. You probably adventured before. I'll leave how you came to know each other up to you. But for one reason or another, you've all ended up in a... Let's start with a tavern. Steph, give me a name of a tavern.
The Bell's Inn. I really
Hey.
should just take my bite or something.
Yep. The Bell's Inn. So let's see. It's which Ben, Master Aaron. He hears rumors coming from certain states. You have heard tell of late that Runtia is looking for, or the state of Runtia is looking for adventurers to pursue a task of great importance. The rumors that have come with it seem to say it is something to do with pirate activity, but you think you have a niggling sensation there might be more to that than meets first eye.
This state, what's their relation to? Are they part of the states?
So Runtia is. Let me go bring up the show the states thing. So Runtia is the top. So they are primarily they have a large fleet of ships, but they don't tend to use them directly. They often tend to loan them out to other factions, which is where a lot of their influence comes from.
Whose allegiance do they have? Are they part of the states, or are they neutral, or part of the broken chain?
They are part of the states. So there's a handout for the states. They're at the top of that.
I can't unfortunately see that right now.
Oh
yeah,
yes.
I can't get in either.
Okay, so sure, that's all I have. That's all I need to know for now.
But yeah, you're there. So the Bell's Inn is located kind of on the mid-tier of Citadel. It's out to one side where it can see out into the kind of the vast land underneath Citadel. It's placed because it was built on what was originally some kind of metalwork that worked on bells. there's still one hanging up in the second floor, and the wind every now and again will cause it to ring. The place is relatively filled out, as it's most way through the day, and you all kind of gathered into the common room.
What is the current weather situation?
Currently, it's clear skies. That could change at a moment's notice, or it could be clear skies going forward.
It's okay if it does change. My hair will change.
So, what are people doing? So, Ben, you know about that that potential job.
Right. Do I generally travel the party, or have we just met in the past?
I think we've established that we know each other. I don't think we formed like a distinct cohort yet, but we may have done assignments together. But I don't think
So
we are
potentially
specifically unaware of each other.
So potentially you are like you have partied together, but you're not set yourself up as a party yet, I suppose.
Okay. I imagine that given the fact that they don't really want me around in the actual citadel itself proper for too long, I imagine when you say I've heard rumours, it's someone has been pestering me, trying to get me to go away again, and they're like, oh, I've heard this, why don't you go do this? So that's probably why I'm here, is they're finally at their wits' end and want me gone again, and you're saying rumours, but it's really, I'm being fed deliberate information, and I've come here to see if anyone worth my time is here. So I'm going to have a look around the room and see if I spot anyone who looks like they're worth my time.
Well, you potentially you've known all the other people of the party, so you potentially could have helped arrange everyone to be there. But yes,
I think personally, given that some of the party are very odd, I think the only ones that I would have connections to would be ones that are around the citadel more often. I think the rest of them I will probably bump into by chance. I would imagine it would probably be Kieran's character, and it might even be it, because the rest of you are a chaos mage.
Grazhar has been around trying to get into with the state, so I assume he's been around in the citadel.
He is very strange, though. I think
strange.
given it's not really my thing to be doing any administration or any overly thinking. I think I've got into contact with Kieran's character. I'm expecting them, and either Kieran's going to have found some people, or I'm just going to find people around here that seem worthwhile. So I'm going to try and find where Kieran's sitting. I imagine Kieran is probably the sort of character who's going to be there on time, whereas I would have arrived slightly late. So they're probably already at the chair somewhere.
Oh, she was early.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
Wizards
find
are
where
never
Kieran's
early.
wizard is sitting.
Wizards arrive precisely when they mean to.
Precisely. But although it is normally good to be fashionably late, Arya Lemna probably thought about arriving fashionably late and then had a mini panic attack about being seen as rude, and then just arrived 20 minutes early and started furtively looking around for them.
Okay, so yes, can I spot them? Because I know this place is quite busy.
Yes.
I'm currently at the door. All right. So if I'm visible from where she's sitting, I'm gonna give a wave, and then I'm gonna like not really push, but slide my way past people, because I'm quite alive and not gonna be too bothersome. So I'm gonna sneak, slide and sneak my way to her, and say hello.
Arya will smile at you and nod as she rises from her chair. Tall, imposing woman, 6 foot tall, but graceful and lithe in a similar fashion to you. Long, sort of silvery blonde hair, easily reaching down past her waist, carefully tied up and secured. And she said, "Greetings to you. I heard you had some administrative difficulties, and administration is certainly something I excel at."
Yes. It's as per usual, my family is pestering me, and that does mean at least that they have given me a potential job that you might be interested in. They don't feed me bad rumors. They want me gone, but they don't want me dead. So yeah. Master Aaron is a human as before live, but he's got a charismatic personality to him, and he's strong enough to be a commander. He looks very young. You'd think he's probably under 18. He was definitely had his martial training and then was kicked out of the house as best they could without disowning him, because that would be very embarrassing to the noble family. So yeah, he gives a bow to you and says, did you manage to find anyone, or are we going to have to pick them out from this crowd?
Well, I managed to find a small handful of people, a little bit, different from what I'm sure you're used to in your line of work, but their bona fides appear good, at least on paper. And she'll
Well,
motion towards the rest of the group.
I'll give them a quick once over, and then I'll say, I'll be honest, it's not like I get to hang out with a bunch of nobles and super military commanders and stuff. Out in the wilderness, either I'm with convicts trying to claim land so that the state will recognize them, or at best adventurers. So yeah, they look charming enough, and I will look them over. Although I imagine the necromancer is giving off that creepy vibe already, but I will still give them a little bow and say, so are you all interested in a job then?
I seek to rise above my present station.
And what's your present station?
Not very good, that's why I'm seeking to rise above it. Let's not get into details.
Was not the biggest fan.
Fair enough. Do you have a skeleton minion on
Ben?
you right now?
Kina is around somewhere, I'm sure.
Okay. And what about you? I'll turn to Nick's Chaos Mage.
And what of me? If you're asking me to come with you, I'm certainly interested.
That's good. What sort of skills do you bring?
Well, what skills do I not bring? I'm diversely talented in the art of magic, just not in the way most people tend to be.
Another spellcaster. Interesting. I know. What's Kieran's character's name again? I fortunately do not have the roll 20 still.
Yeah.
Ariel Lemna.
I know Ariel would not pick a spellcaster who wasn't worth their salt.
Ben, I'm going to post
finally-
everyone's name in Discord for you.
Okay, cool. And finally, how is the barbarian dressed? Is it just full on regular barbarian, like not wearing very much, apart from light armor, or are you just like wearing like heavy studded?
No, I've got trousers and a shirt on, and normal average clothes. I'm probably not wearing my armor in the end.
Have you got do you have a weapon on your back, or?
I'm carrying a very large. Oh, I didn't do my weapon. I've got a rapier. No, I don't have a rapier. That was on the sheet before I started.
Battle axe?
Warhammer?
Great sword?
Yeah, great sword. Great sword.
Very nice.
Apologies.
It's a
I
great
forgot
rapier.
to edit that. Yeah. It's a rapier that looks an awful lot like a great sword.
What brings you
Disguised.
here?
I left.
From what I understand, that there are not too many wood elves around the citadel. Generally, you will find them in more
Wooded
rural
area?
floating islands compared to our place.
Yes, well, I felt the small-minded thinking of my tribe was holding me back, and so I'm out to make a name for myself out in the world and see what it has. We hear great stories of great adventurers in the woodlands, but hardly anyone ever leaves. I thought I'd break the pattern.
I'll turn to Arilemna and say, well, a good mix of them. I just still don't know what this one does, but I suppose we should discuss our job first and see if they're interested. And then I'll pull out some papers. You already know because I told you what it is, but I will tell them about how the state of Runtia supposedly has a task of great importance, although they probably just want someone to do their dirty work, if I'm honest. And it's something to do with pirates, but if that was the case, they would probably just be using their navy or their military, so it's probably something more. But that's good.
You know that they don't have a navy, so to speak, but you know that something feels a little off with it.
I thought you said they rent out ships, though.
They have a fleet, but they don't rent it out. They rent out to people.
Yeah, I thought that's what I meant. That's what. Yeah, but that would mean they still have a lot of ships around, right? Even if it's currently.
But not the skill to use them. That's the problem they have.
They're shipbuilders. Fair enough. I'll say yes if you're interested. There isn't much more information than that, but sometimes that can be a good thing because if there was a lot of information, there would be a lot of other competing parties. We've got in quite early before there's much known, so if we head off now, I'm sure we can get the job.
Sounds like a plan.
I believe it has merit.
Presuming there's no things we need to deal with immediately, I just see no reason why we can't leave now.
Immediately sounds good, yes.
In which case, let us try and get the nearest, the quickest travel that we have access to the area in question.
Yep.
I trust you. I trust as adventurers you mostly all travel light.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I have a few supplies, but I have a minion for such things.
Yes. I'm choosing not to travel with my valet today. However, I think a small piece of luggage might be required, but nothing major.
Okay then, excellent. I trust you've already worked out what's the next boat we can take. You're always on the ball.
I have the timetable here. She'll just sort of unfurl a scroll which has sort of like intricate details of exactly which airships planning to leave next, who the captain of each ship is, and that sort of thing.
Yep. So
I'm just going to give a smile that this is great.
okay, so yes, you are able to. It is a small kind of like ferry up to one of the higher up islands within Citadel. So the state of Runtia is, while it's not near the peak of Citadel, it's hangs out towards the side, often shown by the fact that they have extensive docking, shall we say, facilities. You're able to get there easily enough, and you've been given a contact name who can direct you to to Zervas of Runtia, who is the person who is offering the job, so to speak, or providing the job. So
Are they famous enough of a name that we've heard of them, despite not being from the state, or is it just not a name we've heard of?
if you're particularly involved in the States, then yeah, you will have heard the name. more that more not of any achievements, more that it is someone relatively high placed within the state. So you will have heard the name less so much, not really because of their reputation, but more because it will have showed up in various reports from your own state or the like. So you are guided into a rather opulent would be the wrong term, because everything is almost like set for purpose, but the skill and craftsmanship shown in the making of the house, it seems very exceptional, with arches and pillars holding up a high ceiling. The meeting room itself you could probably fit a house inside. It is kind of that's quite high. There are bookcases lining each of the far walls, and there is a relatively large table in the center. There is one person sitting down at the table and another person who is pacing closer to a small window over on the far right-hand corner. Yep, go ahead.
I was just saying, greetings to you, my dear, sweet friends. I'm certain you must have heard of my approach. I'm Arya Lemna of Tome. It is a delight to meet you again.
Because I actually have pictures, so I'm going to put a disclaimer now that most of the pictures I have used for characters, I do not have permission, I do not have rights to. Please go support the relevant people if you like what you see. Just making that clear now. So this is Servas of Runtia, who is the person who is sitting at the table, and the person over by the window is this guy. Ben, he's had any chance getting in? Wow. As you enter the room, the person by the window kind of stops pacing and comes back towards the table to sit down. Meanwhile, the person, Servas, kind of stands and is like, you would be you would be here upon my illustrious offerings of a job, I hope.
So
Well-
what was that last word he said? Offerings of
A job, I hope.
Well, what
Yes.
else would we be here for,
we wouldn't
aside
be
from
here for
the
any
grace
other
of your
reason.
company?
He kind of like gives a kind of friendly kind of vibe, like, you are a talker. I appreciate that. Well-
What can I say? I'm good with my. Oh no, can't say that out loud.
Well, do come in. Do any of you care for refreshments? I can have that sorted. I do hope the travel here was not difficult.
No, it was good. Aralemna here, she picked a very quick journey, but also a very good captain.
Aye. That is heartening to hear. Well, so he kind of motions a servant from one side of the room over, and says something. The servant hurries away. Within a couple of minutes, he returns carrying trays of food. These are slightly more up-class food than you are used to. This seems to be a very much imported food from other nations, as there's not a lot of mushrooms and lichen here.
Wonderful. I will eat promptly.
Such a repast. It's been a long time since I've eaten food of this quality.
Question: could prestidigitation produce something like a fork, like from like my pocket, like make it appear, as it were?
Yeah, I'll allow that.
You'll see Arialemna will just start speaking a little bit too loudly, going, "And I call forth the wondrous conjuration of miraculous forks."
There's a slight flash and a puff, and a fork appears.
Beautifully gilded fork with filigree and mother of pearl inlay, and she'll sort of sit down and sort of delicately pick at the food.
I will just
On the other hand,
produce a
Grazel
fork
seems
from
to
my
be
pocket.
eating with surgery utensils. Don't ask.
It's been cleaned and sterilized.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
I had actually set my my melee weapon as a large fork, so yes.
Oh wow!
I will produce a fork and begin enjoying food with it.
It is very high class food.
Such flavors.
Yes,
I haven't eaten food quite as this in a few years, not since I left my family's household.
Is very most gracious to hear that. You are. Let's see. What Yeah, he should know. He should know. You are of Tempton, I assume, from that sigil. I assume you have a sigil somewhere.
Yes. And
Yeah.
when I realised that I've obviously forgotten the fact that he probably recognises me, there's a moment where I pause to see what his reaction is going to be, because my older brother is obviously very famous, but anyone who knows enough about Tempton probably knows of me. And while they might not know
would you like
specific,
to give me a? Do you have any kind of, so to speak, sense motive style, like background?
I only have noble-born leader.
I think I will allow that because part of being a noble is having to deal with the politics.
Yes.
So give me a roll.
It's
You
wisdom
are looking
plus.
for. Yeah, you are looking for a 15.
Yes, so it's wisdom plus level plus the background, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. You think that, so this person hides it well. He's clearly knows his craft, but you notice, like when he looked to you, he looked to the sigil, he looked back to you. There was a slight moment of him almost like calculating, and his hand kind of like left hand unconsciously moved to one of his pockets, where it kind of stayed. But during this entire period, his expression didn't change. It was still like friendly and friendly and jovial.
I'm gonna pretend I haven't seen it, and I'm just going to respond positively with a nod and say, "Yes, yes. I believe you probably have heard of me."
Yes, I've heard great things about your family. Long history and with just as many achievements.
Very true.
And it is for this reason that I am very much hoped you could help us with a certain problem we're having. Well, less problem, more potential opportunity that I need trusted people to follow through on, shall we say.
Do tell us more. I'm sure we're all interested to hear, because the details were quite sparse.
Yes, intentionally so. You've probably heard that we are having some problems with pirates. I trust.
Yes, that was the bit we had heard.
Very
Is there
good,
more?
very good. It means my that information has not leaked, as that is not the job I am asking you all to do. I will have to ask for the utmost discretion in this task. Instead, I would like you to help escort Danis here to a location that we believe a deposit of morite could be found, to scout it and report back upon whether it does.
What would my character know of the uses of morite?
Yeah, I was going to ask had I heard about Morite as well.
Yep. Do you have any arcanish or mining knowledge related background?
Master of the Arcane Arts 5.
Okay. Roll that.
Wistful experimenter.
Roll that as well.
Do I get to add intelligence to this?
Yes.
26.
Oh, yeah. What did you get, Nick?
So, did I do that correctly?
I
think
forgot to add my level.
So you mean it was even higher?
So you actually rolled
Should have been a
29.
29 in that case.
Oh wow. Okay.
What DC for it again?
15. So you kind of blew that right out of the water.
Good.
What? Sorry. What did you get? Because I think you got it as well.
17.
Yep. Okay. So for the two of you, you would know that morite is a rather rare material. It tends to be produced closer to the heart of the Nexus. So usually it's quite dangerous to gather. It's used quite a bit to power both the crystals that is used when people travel away from a Nexus to retain their magic, and it is also used to power airships. One thing you know, Kieran, is that this resource is usually only the miner and things underneath him are allowed to mine it and survey it. Like it's his purview.
Interesting.
So that is of interest to you.
Might I ask, purely in the interest of interstate relations, why you have not included the miner in these gatherings?
Should we? That is why I'm seeking discretion, should we say? You see, there are many such expeditions that the miner does, and his group and ilk do undertake, and they are highly skillful in their thing. However, a large cut of that remains with the miner, and very few is filtered down to where it could be better used, if you get my meaning.
And might I ask, given that you are requesting discretion in this matter, I mean, what would such discretion be worth? I'm only thinking of my compatriots here. I mean, they seem to have far more use for it than I.
I am willing to give each. What was the? I've lost where I put the currency.
We shifted around the metals, didn't we?
Yeah, we shifted around the metals, and I can't remember where we put that.
I think it's in the
In the setting document.
yeah.
Now, Aralemnart, I'm sure he's not cutting out the miner on his proceeds. It's just until he's acquired the resource in question, there's no need to bring the man into the scheme. You know, everyone gets their due in the end. It's just how much exactly? Who knows?
Oh, I mean, I am exceedingly well versed in the uses of morite, and I'm certain that a document could be drafted looking at its purification process, in which such a large quantity of it is just lost.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I see we are both on the same page. I would not want to, go around the miners' efforts, but at the same time, I'm sure that were we to locate it, that would be information in itself.
Yes, even a small cache of the resource would be sweet news to everyone involved. And I give a little smile, knowing that it's probably not a small cache, but it will turn out to be afterwards.
Yes. I can't find the Nexus thing. I can't find what we put our currency.
Let me find it quick. Keep going. I'll find it.
So I am willing to give a rather generous sum to each person who undertakes this mission, along with a merit of recommendation. Just for your services.
Oh, have you got it, Jimmy?
Oh, I found the metal box. We had decided that platinum equals titanium, gold equals steel, silver equals iron, and copper equals tin.
So it would be 500 steel each, which is no small amount.
It's not insignificant.
Yeah.
And might I ask exactly how much morite are you intending to extract? You are being extremely generous.
Shall we say whatever we gather? Shall we say that the expedition will be worth just as much, whether there be any found or not? And if you do happen to come across any so-called pirates, then I'm sure you can just deal with that as well.
Are we to just pacify and locate the cache, or will the miners be travelling with us?
We have a location that
You just kind of broke up there for me.
Yep. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. He says whether you find resources or not, the trip will not be wasted. The much of the payment is in your continued discretion about this matter.
Interesting.
I will allow Danis, who will be overseeing this, to explain much of the finer details. One thing that I will be making clear with this is that you are to get him there and back safely. He will be joining you.
I will turn to this individual and see what sort of reading I can get of him. Like, he's obviously dressed in quite heavy armor. What sort of skills does he have?
Give me another like perception check. I'll allow the noble leader again.
Interesting. I don't think that hits. It's 15, isn't it?
No, it's 15. No, so you can't really get a good gauge of him. One thing you do seem, you do get, because it's, I guess, not well hidden, is that he seems to be anxious as if waiting for his companion to leave.
Interesting.
Is that in
Okay.
some way suspicious?
Potentially.
I will turn to the individual and say, how confident are you with travelling the more wild routes?
I've done my time. I can handle myself.
Excellent. Then this should be of little trouble. Everyone will arrive safe and sound.
And yeah, so what's his name again? So Zervas kind of stands. Is like, I will allow Danis to go through the finer details. Do you have any last questions, as I am needed at my next meeting?
You said you would offer us a nobleman's favour.
It is a merit of recommendation, more just to say a proof that you have been of use to a state, which could be used for anything requiring such proof.
That is something I desperately will, or something that I desperately need.
Yeah. So out of character, so like a merit of recognition is something that can be given by states. This is essentially just pretty much a written thing saying these guys were helpful. But of course, in a city dominated by the fact of you need to be useful, this can be like relatively a big thing. It can help. It could theoretically help you get into a state because it's proving you're useful. Though obviously, normally you need more than one merit to do so. Otherwise, it's essentially it's not money in itself, but it could be used to like give some influence off that.
I want it.
I'll add it to the others on my wall.
Easy to
very
get
well.
in wizarding school, then, are they? I
I
wasn't
mean,
there long enough.
My state is renowned for its usefulness to the Citadel. Of course, we're the ones that teach. We're the ones that enforce the law regarding the training of magic among its citizenry. I mean, everyone should learn, don't you think?
Definitely.
Of course, everyone should learn, but
Everyone should have the opportunity to learn. And everyone should at least be taught the basics of how to control themselves. Further study is, of course, the purview of the tome.
Well, with that, I will leave the rest of the minutiae explanations to Danis. It was a pleasure meeting you all, and so Zervis excused himself from the room. So as soon as Zervis has left, Danis kind of looks at you all and says, "Okay, let me be straight with you. I'd like to hire you for a different job. One that is very much of great importance to me."
Do go on.
So like my senior, I will have to ask for discretion, but for a different reason. Namely that my those of my house don't know what I am trying to do, and this is more of a personal quest. However, I can suitably recompense you more than Zervas can.
We're listening.
Very good. So Zervas would have us go to a location that may or may not have Morite. I'm reasonably sure it doesn't, as I have made up the rumor that he heard. I instead would like to travel to a certain location that is in a precarious location. It is. Let me bring up the notes. It is a place called the Plateau of Isiros.
Is that Ishiros? As in...
Isiros.
Ah, interesting.
So let me copy the name into the chat just so everyone can see it. If anyone wants to do any kind of history on that, they can roll. The DC is actually 20 on that.
Would Master of the Arcane Arts apply?
No. Actually, yes. No, I'll allow it.
Is there like is there a standard
So it would
history
be a
roll in it?
D20 plus your intelligence plus your level.
So we're level 3.
Yep.
And my
Oh,
intelligence
right.
is plus 5, so I get plus 8 to this.
Yeah, ignore
wow.
the 3 for background, so that's 17. 16.
I know nothing at all.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
I asked, would Force of Entropy count just on an off chance? I don't know where exactly we're heading. Would that work?
Yeah, I'll allow that.
Interesting. What a lucky guess. And it's an int check, right?
Yes.
Ah, my dice rolls are back on form. Carry on.
Okay, so you do get some things. You probably, those that got 15 or above have heard of the Plateau of Isros, former home to the Kingdom of Eros. It was a kingdom that had fallen a long time ago. Was believed that the plateau itself had been sucked into into Ingard's Folly, which is what people have called the storm that surrounds the Nexus. Usually, it's an area of no return.
Okay.
Oh, I should have applied Nexus Touch to that then.
Yes.
In which case, my roll was a 19.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll be nice. So, Nick, you will have heard that years ago, rumors that an expedition might have sent by one of the states to those ruins before it was sucked into Ingard's Folly. You've only heard rumors of it, though.
I've long wanted to get closer to the Nexus. There is much mystery around it that I must learn.
Yes,
Or
well,
at least experience.
Has any of you heard of this location before, or will you need a history lesson?
I think I've heard references to it in the past, but I suspect most of us would be appreciative of a quick primer.
Very
Not
good.
to this place. History is good, yes?
Yes, it was said to be an ancient kingdom that was overrun by monsters before it was pulled into Ingard's Folly. Now, I've recently heard through rumors that a section of it has been thrown out, so to say. I want to go there. At least I want to go there before it potentially is pulled back in.
Certainly an interesting idea, something I haven't heard of, and I'd be more than happy to document it, anonymously, of course.
And why exactly do you want that? Do you want to do that?
Of mine, a close friend of mine, travelled to there once before it was subsumed. He did not return. I want to learn his fate, if possible. I understand it may be a fool's errand, and that nothing may be there, but this is a opportunity that is not going to come again.
Do you know of anyone that's been there before and possibly returned? I do know that there have been claims of people that have visited near the Nexus and have somehow returned.
Yes, he was part of an expedition. An expedition was sent out by the state of Hircine to... Was it... Hang on, was it Hircine? Let me double check the name. Double checking my notes super quickly. Be a sec. Damn it, Roll20, stop doing that. Okay. There it is. No, it wasn't Hircine. It was Tivir. So, the state of Tivir, I'll copy and paste that into there, had organised a expedition there. My friend was amongst there. Of those that went, only 4 returned. Unfortunately, those that returned are either in stations that are inaccessible to myself, or are elsewhere, which means that the expertise on that matter are out of reach.
Were there any access to
why we
reports
cannot
of
do both?
their exploits there that we could refer to?
Our state of Tivir most likely has records on the expedition itself. I do not have access to that. All I know is that from what my investigations have shown is that he left on this expedition and never returned, and that his name is not on the record of the expedition, of what I can see. Someone also wants to give me some kind of like politicking or bureaucracy role.
Anyone who is a noble, probably.
Noble bearing could work.
Yeah. Yep.
Will this be charisma or?
No, this is another int. This is
Okay.
knowledge.
Let's give it a go.
It is 15.
I have no idea.
Find me a good roll. Hello?
Yep. You got. I was just waiting to see if Nick was going to roll it or. Oh wait, no, he doesn't have noble stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a noble.
With a 28, yeah, okay. So yeah, that blew the DC right out of the water. So one nuance that you know when it comes to this sort of thing. If a name is not on the record, that usually means one of two things. Either they were taken off the record because they were never supposed to be on the record, so something clandestine, or the alternative, which is the more official reason, is that they were taken off because they were deemed a traitor. And as per Citadel, the worst punishment that can be done is for your name to be, stricken from the record, essentially like forgotten. So those are the two main reasons why someone's name might be removed from a report.
Okay. Interesting. I'll keep that to myself for now.
Andy, check Discord.
Yep. It was. I think it was called the Spine. Let's call it the third spine.
Okay, that works. So there's there's been an rumored tower of some description that blinks that appears to blink in and out of existence around the Nexus. One that I've been trying to find for a long time. This will be a good opportunity to see if I can find it up close. I'm sure you must have heard of this in your studies there, Arielema.
Certainly something I can research, and my breadth of knowledge is rather remarkable.
Is it?
Yes, and I do say so myself.
And perhaps you could find us the most circuitous route.
Maps and charts should not be an issue.
But how do you deal with not having requisite information? I don't know if you know this, but the closer you get to the Nexus, weird things begin to happen. Unpredictable things.
Oh, yes, I know very much. I've studied it extensively. It is a source of miraculous wonderment.
It is, but how good are you in a crisis where you cannot rely on order?
I rely on chaos. She gives you a smile.
Constantine will nod approvingly.
When order cannot be relied on, embrace the chaos, for the time being. However, please do not use that as an official quotation.
For chaos comes chaos. Probably why I got kicked out of wizarding school.
Yes. Yes, it was. When one approaches the Nexus, one must be prepared for chaos. Order cannot always be relied on. As much as we may crave control, the closer one gets to the Nexus, the more chaotic it shall be.
I think we should get as much information as we can before we, whilst we're there and before we go there.
Very well. I can. While I can provide much the same rewards that my compatriot has offered you, but in addition, I can offer one favor to each of you for something that I can do within my power. After all, as far as my house is concerned, I will succeed no matter what happens within this trip.
Good. And there will be no problems with the fact that we will not be stumbling across any more kind, most likely.
We might stumble on some. You never know what's there.
True, but it's equally as likely we do not.
What is our intended method of travel? Are we going over the mountains, or taking the river, or are we going to find another circuitous route?
Obviously, the best route would be to procure an airship. Sadly, a lot of my house's spares are being used elsewhere. So I hope you would know a captain who may be able to transport us. Otherwise, I can try and make some arrangements.
I wouldn't think many airship captain would be willing to fly deliberately close to the Nexus, or at least on the threshold of where Ingard's folly begins.
May be able to find one. Wizards are always looking to get close to study it. Someone at the academy will almost certainly be up for an encounter.
The Academy is interested in a great many things, but academic research primarily. This could prove of interest to them. I'm certain I could persuade them it could prove useful to them in another fashion.
Is that the sound of someone about to use an icon relationship?
I was, but it sounds like he's going to.
Well, I was thinking about it. Basically, seeing if I can pull in as in get in touch, because it was I rolled I think 5 with the scholar.
Yep.
So I was thinking that this might be a time to call in that icon relationship.
Yep. Okay, I will strike that one out. So yes, you know of a person who is interested in studying Nexus, who knows a person, who knows a captain, who might be able to be convinced to do something dangerous and risky because he rather likes money and owes a favor to said scholar.
Then I
so you
call in that favor.
You are directed to this person, who is a captain. Steph, give me a name of an airship.
Airship. The Dancing Pirate.
Dancing Pirate. Yep. So he has a ship called the Dancing Pirate. It is so called because it was once a pirate ship that was reclaimed, and there were, in a rather morbid twist of things, it is said that the pirates were made to dance off the side of the ship when it was reclaimed, and it has been in Alan's hands ever since. People think he's a bit crazy and wild, but at the same time he has certain addictions such as gambling and drugs, but he's a very good pilot as well. So.
But is he a better pilot when he is on his drugs?
That remains to be seen, but he is a highly capable pilot, and B, crazy enough to fly near the Nexus.
That's a very nice portrait, by the way. I like that. Might save that for a potential character in the future.
It looks like the art style of sort of Dishonored.
Yeah.
At least in my mind, yeah.
Yeah. It kind of looks like almost kind of looks like what I would envision my professor in Call of Cthulhu to look like.
So yes, we shall go and meet the captain.
What is anyone going to? So you said you were going to also try and look into the thing as well. Is anyone how are people doing that?
Well, given that I'll put the group in touch with the captain and say that I'll need to return to the tome and basically collate my research and sort of spend a few hours sort of digging through and researching. They should get themselves better acquainted with the captain.
Yep.
Arielena, when I was when I was in wizarding school, I remember one of the faculty was quite a bit interested in studying the Nexus as well as the storms abound in the area.
Yes.
It may be worth asking them if they are aware of any deliberate research or taken part in any deliberate research that may help us. I fear I cannot show my face in the institution anymore. I think they may be of help.
I am involved in educational and scholarly research of the Nexus. Yes, I mean, there are a great many things that it can tell us and teach us.
In any case, though, I will. I think we will leave that avenue to you. We can procure this good captain and his airship.
I'll head back to the tome and see about getting in touch with some of my contacts then.
Okay, so who is heading to meet the captain? Who is heading to try and find information about this previous expedition?
I will go to the captain.
Unless there's another way I can research it outside that doesn't involve the wizarding institutions, and I will go and meet the captain as well.
Oh, if anyone has any kind of influence with the state, theoretically, they could get information on it from the. They could try and get information like the original report, theoretically. That's with Tavir though. Otherwise, there might be something in some of the archives, and yeah, like previously mentioned, there may be something being the scholars.
I would like to see what our excellent wizard finds first before I call in any favours.
Yep. Okay, so let's do the researching first. Kieran, if you could make some kind of researching roll, based upon essentially it is base difficulty. However, if you get to DC 20, I'll give you some more information. And yes,
24.
24. Ooh, hello. Wow, that's pretty good. So let me open up my notes.
Arielena, she is a scholar. She does know what she's doing.
Okay, so you would find some notes on the where is? There we go. You found notes that was recorded around a previous expedition to the plateau of Issaros. Its primary objective was to retrieve a magic artifact from the heart of the city called Lentha's Tier, of which the expedition succeeded in doing so. The artifact was taken to House Tavir, who is renowned for its archaeological finds, unsurprisingly. You would also find a record of like the names of the people that were involved in it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 names that are recorded. Of obviously, you know that the person the guy is looking for isn't going to be on here because he's already mentioned it wasn't on the record. But you do have 7 names theoretically.
So 7 people that we can go and speak to regarding the plane of Issaros and get their thoughts and their sort of information.
Theoretically, though it doesn't say where to find them.
Still a good start. Maybe someone in the group will have better luck.
Well, actually, like, it's technically 4 names, because 3 of them have been marked down as deceased. Presumably
That
died
does
during it.
not remove them from the list.
They'll be on there just crossed through when I meet up with the group again.
Yeah. Okay, let me copy the names over to the chat so you can all see it.
7 names to speak, 7 names to open the way.
That also includes their race.
Where are you posting this to?
Oh,
Discord, right.
In Nexus, yeah. The ones with a D next to them means they're dead, or they've got lines stricken through.
Does it actually have a location of where they were buried?
No. You
have
don't
to-
tend to include that in a scientific report. That was primarily about the tier of Lentha.
But would they be written in some kind of what's what I'm looking for? Like an almanac of people that have lived and now do not.
Potentially, though, bear in mind that the fact that none of these have a surname currently means that as of the expedition, none of them were part of a state.
Ah, okay, yeah, okay.
Is very helpful because it means they probably won't have people who care if you talk to them.
Yeah, that doesn't help us finding out where they are, though. In fact, that makes it
I
harder.
have the background grave digger. Would I be able to find out where our graves are with that?
Potentially.
I like how you're going to go talk to the dead guys. That's great.
Well, they're the ones I can talk to better than the living ones.
Quite.
Death is just an obstacle.
When Arya returns, you can see that she's sort of worrying at her temple. She goes, I have a list, hand it to the group, etc. And she'll go, we don't have long. We should conclude our research and head there immediately. I have a bad feeling that Issaros shall soon be reclaimed by the Nexus.
Has my hair changed colour in the intervening time?
Let's resolve this in a good chaotic way. No, it's still clear.
As in, my hair's transparent.
As in, it is still the same color it was
Right.
30 minutes ago.
Well, that means nothing bad. No weathers have changed, which means nothing. We're on good times so far.
I can look into questioning those 3 quite promptly. A day or 2 at most, maybe even just a few hours.
How?
I will say. So, all of these were no longer members of the state. Is that correct?
No, as in, they're not members of the state.
Yeah,
They're
no
not-
longer.
not-
As in, I assume they must have been born in the states, but they were removed.
No. So if they are part of the state, they get a surname. If they do not have a surname, it means they're not part of it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they were removed from the states, i.e., they got in trouble. Is what I'm.
Oh,
saying.
as in no. So, the person that he was referring to so if a person is stricken from the record, the entire of the name is stricken from the record. So theoretically, more than 7 people was on this expedition.
So these are the ones that didn't get stricken,
Yes.
but they're not members of the states, and they were from places outside the state.
They're not members of the state because at the time of the report was made, they were not members of the state because they do not have a surname.
How long ago was this?
This was probably about 5 years ago.
Yeah, think of a surname as like having citizenship.
No, no,
effectively.
yeah. I completely get that. It's just I had assumed because he didn't have a surname that they had it removed rather than
No, it's the entire. Sorry, I didn't. If I didn't make it clear, it's when I say the name is stricken from the record, it's the entire name. Like no mention of them will be added to any kind of record.
So, do people are there people born within the states who aren't entitled to surnames, or is it only people outside the states who start out with no surname?
So theoretically, everyone is born without a surname. Theoretically, even people born in the states have to earn their name. I say theoretically because certain states may get around this by, giving them essentially very easily accepting these children into their ranks.
Yeah, there is some amount of nepotism in the
Yes.
Citadel.
What percentage of
but-
people living in the states do not have a surname?
Everyone living in a state has a surname. Part of becoming part of that state is getting that surname. Anyone who is
Yeah,
Yep.
but all right, but there obviously are going to be people without surnames living there,
Yes.
as in as workers and stuff. That's what I'm asking. What population? Because there's going to, I would imagine the majority do not have surnames. I'm asking like
So,
what percentage?
Okay. Well, I guess the way you think of people, everyone who works within a state, because they are often to a degree self-contained, have a surname, but not everyone works within a state. So you get merchants and people and residentials which are not part of a state, and those are the people. Or you have the downtrodden, you have slums, you have.
So they never have indentured workers and things like that. Like people who officially exist but have not been granted any form of citizenship.
Not really. So the thing is, like, you get people where they do not have surnames if anyone that so to speak officially is working for within a state, usually is part of that state. Think of them as like almost like small kingdoms amongst
Very
onto
surprising.
themselves.
I would have expected them to be more using of people who don't have citizenship.
The thing that is, they treat it a bit like the VI, like maybe not like a VIP club, but like a club, in that everyone needs membership.
Could I offer a minor alteration just to clear this up a bit more?
Yep.
So, at least when it comes to being members of exclusive groups, people that tend to join, like even in things like bikers and stuff, like before they become officially entered into a biker family, they are referred to as prospects. So they wouldn't. They would have like a name to identify them by, and then they following on from that, they would have prospect next to their name, and they're not brought in and given a surname until they have fulfilled whatever requirements of them to be able to join happens.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Which I think might be an easier way to differentiate people that are full citizens and people that are prospective citizens that
I think
have not yet
good,
earned their place.
I completely understood that. My only problem was I was surprised that given that the surnames are supposedly full class citizens, or they are full class citizens, I'm surprised there is not a higher undercaste of people who are living there but have no real rights. So that just seems very human, I'll be honest, to do that sort of thing.
As in, there's probably a lot more things that go on that are. This is the system as it is supposed to work.
Yeah,
Quote,
they probably do exist. It's just no one acknowledges that they exist officially.
The only reason I was asking in the first place is because when you said there was 5 people without surnames, I was like, okay, I'm going to use my broken chain contacts because I imagine they're either going to be sympathizers or literally members. But now I don't feel like this will any
Well,
real
so
use.
for example, they could be part. Well, actually, they are probably not part of the broken chain. Depending on which
It's
broken
more
chain
likely
they
that
are.
It's much more likely the stricken people are members of it because they would have been basically exiled effectively because they're even worse than not having a surname. They're going to have serious issues living in the nation.
Those without surnames usually tend to be things like adventurers, downtrodden, people that kind of flock to the blind beggar, merchants that are not attributed to any states, or general workers that are not attributed to any states. There is a large majority of people that are still without surnames that are part of different different factions, so you can get them in like the Forge Master, the Miner, etc. The way to get a surname is through the states.
No. What I was talking now about the stricken people. In that, once you're stricken, there's probably not a lot of point becoming an adventurer because you're not actually going to really earn your way back into the states because you've obviously greatly pissed them off. So I imagine they end up in one of the rival broken chain nations because that's probably one of the few places they can go to that isn't just wilderness.
Yeah.
Well, there are also other cities like the Citadel elsewhere in the map. We haven't defined any of those yet, but others do exist.
They are underneath the broken chain, so to speak, including the ones which just never were part of it. It's kind of like a catch-all for them.
Anyway, my icon isn't really going to help here, so I'm just going to carry on and let anyone else find out who these people are. I'll let the necromancer do what he or she were going to do. I can't really tell with a name like Constantine. Oh no, is that the Chaos Mage?
That's the Chaos Mage.
Razhar, KML, necromancer.
Okay, so Richard, what are you wanting to do?
So sorry, that went on a long time. What's the situation again?
So
I apologise.
So we are. So essentially, I guess the thing that has just happened is Ari. I'll get the name eventually.
Arialemna.
Arialemna has petitioned that the party should try and get to the location as soon as possible. Whereas you said that potentially you might be able to find some information from the dead people if you can find their body.
Well, the two nobles are the ones leading this. If they're willing to grant the time, I can look into it. If not, we go.
I would like to accompany you on this. I'm very interested in seeing.
Arialemna will just
How this
clutch the
works.
bridge of her nose and go, "Please listen to me."
Which one's in charge?
So technically, Arialemna sort of recruited you. On the other hand, there is the noble hasn't weighed in on it. So.
And Arilander wants to leave immediately. Then we leave immediately.
Oh, I wanted to see how you speak to dead people.
Oh, there's going to be plenty of chance. Half of us are going to die on this trip.
I am pretending I did not hear both of those statements.
You can pretend if you like. I'm a necromancer. You recruited me knowing this.
Yes, but that doesn't quite mean I want to see exactly what you end up doing in your free time.
Oh, this isn't my free time. It's work related.
Oh, in that case, next time I shall certainly observe for purely academic reasons.
Oh,
you mean you do this in your free time as well?
No, my pursuits are far more interesting than messing around with graves and bodies. No. Mine is spent, much of it, in the library. That, and have you seen how long this hair is? It takes a night time to get it cleaned and organized and straight.
Yes, you do have hair. That is a disadvantage of your race, I assume.
It is when you get it to that length.
It causes issues sometimes. Occasionally it does snag when I walk, but aside from that, it is not much of an issue.
Just be glad your hair doesn't change colour at inopportune times.
Well, let's see, shall we? But no, I very much believe that we should leave as soon as possible. I have reason to believe that Isseros will soon be reclaimed by by the Nexus sooner than we would like.
Then let us go. Hopefully this airship captain doesn't have a habit of leaving without people. Never
Don't
trust
worry,
him.
I have left strict instructions that if he does return without us, there shall be strict penalties and fines and impound licenses. I am very good with my words. Not that I hope that offends any of you. That would be the last of my concerns. Please accept my heartiest apologies if I've caused any offence to you.
I'm just gonna kind of shake my head frustratedly and just walk away from that.
Ariel will sort of suddenly clutch the bridge of her nose again and sort of groan and go, we should leave now, please.
Lead the way, leader.
Andy, what time would you be looking to end the first session?
What time are people happy to go to? Because I know that Kieran's been at work along most of the day, right?
I'm doing well so far, better than I have. I have a bad habit of working a really long day, going to D&D, getting about 3.5 hours in, and then falling asleep.
Yeah, I saw.
So,
yeah, did that happen on Wednesday?
It did, but only for the last 10 minutes. So yeah, but anyway, no, I'm up at like 5 most mornings. So
We're currently on 1 hour 45 minutes in terms of stream.
Shall we can go to 10, that's sort of a couple of hours then.
Yeah.
And then, we can basically do all the, we'll cut this a little bit out, we'll do the preparations for leaving Nexus, and then maybe make our way, and then next session can just be devoted to, we've done the background, let's go.
Yeah,
there.
I mean, we did start an hour late, because I was being really, really slow.
It's alright,
But,
I think
yeah.
Roll20 did not help. But anyway, shall we do like 5 seconds of room tone and then sort of back into it?
Yes. So yeah, everyone remain quiet. Andy count down to 5 and then carry on, and then we'll just carry on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so in which case you're heading to the Dancing Pirate. So it is as airships go, it is a rather longer affair. It has a very kind of. Sorry, I'll start again. As airships go, it is a longer affair. It only has the one mast, but it then has various submasts which protrude out of it from the sides, almost a bit like wings. It also seems to have been fitted with a Morite powered engine that looks, but to anyone who studied it, slightly outdated. But it seems that this is the sort of ship that could probably travel fast. It's clearly been painted over multiple times. You can still see kind of dregs of previous paint jobs kind of creeping out where some sort of way it's been painted over. And some of the kind of current paint job is clearly starting to peel, so doesn't look like it's seen the most care for its time. But it's sturdy. It looks to have held up, and it looks like it will do the job. This is located up near the top of Citadel, in a place called Zephyr Key. So there's a handout there for it. Which is where a lot of the airships tend to dock and depart. Usually for merchant expeditions. Our resident Necromancer would probably know this place relatively well, considering that they would have gotten off here and were promptly abandoned here.
I imagine a lot
I
of people
don't
have gotten
want
off
to
there.
remember that part.
Yes, apparently this good captain is not priming his ship very well. Look at the paint; it's just coming off. I imagine there is a number of decades worth of paint lying below all of this.
One cannot expect a pristine airship, especially one that, as we know, is designed to travel in close proximity to the Nexus. You, of all people, should know that keeping a ship ordered in such a chaotic environment is going to be intrinsically difficult, and it would be pompous of one to assume that it would be possible.
Chaos doesn't need to be inelegant.
Chaos, by its very design, can be elegant or inelegant, or neither, whatever it so decides. But why should you impose what you believe is order upon a vessel?
That's a very good point, Arielander. I shall think on that.
I do make them from time to time, you know. Well, let us meet this captain then and see exactly what he has to say. I am very eager to head off into the skies, grasp them, as it were.
Is the dancing pirate like a as the image displays on here? Is it basically a dirigible?
Kind of. So that
Or
so
is it more
the
propeller based?
so it is not propeller based. It has an engine of sorts. Most airships do tend to either use the ones which are going into situations which are less hazardous do tend to use propellers which are powered by usually some kind of magical engine. Those that potentially are going to places where they need to try to get to escape velocity will tend to use some kind of Morite-based engine. I say Morite in that the Morite is the fuel.
So are they like obvious square-sized patches?
Um,
Whatever, or is
there-
it?
So I guess in this one there are no obvious, like, I guess there are some propellers, but it's in the case of the engine is not hard to miss at the back, which is a marvel of arcane and magic development.
Is there
So
a crew
magic.
or just the captain?
Hmm?
Is there a
Sorry?
crew or just the captain?
There is a small crew that seem to be busying themselves on the ship, though you get the feeling a lot of them are kind of just finding things to do.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention earlier. Do we want to stock up in any curatives and or status beneficial drinks and tonics and things?
We could always ask for those as expenses.
I'm not actually sure like how much like potions and things cost in 30th Age. So
I think like a basic healing potion is like 50 gold or
You
something.
don't
I don't
need
think there are a lot of
too
potions.
much. It's they're handy to have, but I've never really used many of them because you have the rally action every fight. So
Yeah, you have.
you'll hit
you have recoveries as well, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, but just go to show. I've played almost no
Here we
30th
are.
Age.
Healing potion, adventurer tier, 50 gold pieces. The effect is you heal using a recovery plus a d8 hit points, with a hit point cap of 30.
I actually have some healing, which is
Everyone
I'm
has
the
healing
party
around here.
healer.
well, there's temporary hit points.
So you could potentially pick up potions. Alternatively, you could, you don't. It's not a necessity because everyone has access to some amount of healing, inherently.
Half of that spell's missing. Let me fix that. Right, I shall approach the deck and enter upon it.
So one of them kind of sees you, kind of like looks around to see if anyone else sees them, kind of realizes that he's been seen back, and kind of like sighs and heads over. It's like, can I help you?
Looking for Captain Allen? Is he aboard?
As long as you don't mind the smell of booze, yeah.
Oh no, it's always helpful.
Well, I suppose you'll get right along with him. You don't need him for anything important, do you?
Well, we have a mission for him.
Oh, you're also not part of the guild master, right? No
No.
tax collectors.
No, no.
Okay. That's good. Okay, just follow me.
I have no love for those pen pushers either.
I give a little chuckle and say, the tax collectors would never be so polite.
So he takes you to what is presumably the captain's quarters. There, as you open the door, there is a very acrid smell of booze and alcohol, and
Like really strong crap spirits.
yes, but also on top of that, there's kind of like there's almost like a low-level mist in the area that smells of something some of you may have encountered before, which is some kind of narcotic, maybe. It feels almost like you've walked into almost like an opium den. There is a mattress just slewn into one of the corners, which is surrounded by a fort of empty beer bottles.
Could I
alcohol bottles?
wistful experiment to determine what that mist is?
Yeah, give me a roll.
Interact.
I will allow int or wisdom.
I'll go wisdom.
Yes. Okay. So that is a drug that is kind of making rounds around the market at the moment, called Flux. It's kind of it's a mild hallucinogen. It kind of like comes in a small circular capsule normally, and usually the way and how it's used is you and your friends will go into a room, you'll lock all the doors and windows, you'll throw it down, it will coat the room, and then it will, like, essentially you will be given visions, so quote unquote.
In that case, I'm going to close the door and join on in.
There is over at the mattress, you can see a figure which is half dressed, sort of just lying on the thing, who kind of blearily sort of like stumbles to half uprightness as the door is opened.
Wide open pupils, like one eye half closed.
I'll be waiting outside.
And he kind of like half-heartedly throws an empty bottle in directions like, close the door, you're letting it out.
I already did.
Who are you? Come here, interrupt my reverie. I was dancing upon the clouds.
There'll be more time for that later. We have a job for you.
Okay.
Please pull yourself together and step outside. You can come back in and continue when we're done. In fact, I may join you.
He kind of like looks like bleary over, kind of looking towards each of you, before not finally noticing Kieran's character. Where there's a pause, a kind of like Well, fuck.
So this is what you choose to spend your time doing with all of the money that we're sending to you for your experience. I'd hate for my colleagues back at the Tome to hear of this.
How can I help you, Mom? He says in a kind of in a resignated voice.
I believe my compatriots have elucidated it quite nicely. We have a job for you, one that I'm hoping you'll be able to perform for us, dear.
Well, as I'm sure your esteemed colleagues have said, I'm the best in the business. He says, so I started struggling to get up.
She'll look around the room, sort of run a finger along sort of a tabletop and sort of rub the dust and go, yes, I'm sure that's exactly what they're saying. I'll have to see it to believe it, though. Given your current state, it's a little bit difficult to believe.
Don't me. I've navigated storms with in a much more drunken state and come out completely fine.
That is neither here nor there. Where we are going is eminently dangerous, and I will need you on top form.
Well, yeah, it'd be helpful if you could tell me where you're looking to go.
Plane of Issaros.
He kind of like pauses as if, which quadrant is that?
Space quadrant.
Out of character.
6.
Which quadrant is that?
So you would.
Jared
would
Michael
probably
Vincent
know
quadrant 16.
Yeah, you probably know that there is a quadrant system which is usually based on how far away is it from the what's the name of it again? From Ingard's Folly. The location that you have been told by Danis, who presumably will be joining you in a bit, is it's in quadrant 1 because it is closest to the point of no return.
Okay, so it's mapped out like the London Underground, so like the zones radiate outwards.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a good way of putting it. I'll say, why? Quadrant 1, of course.
Kind of pauses. Takes a bit of a breath. He kind of goes over to a cupboard, opens it, takes out a bottle, takes another big swig of it, puts it down, and just goes, okay.
Quadrant 1 and slipping closer by the minute.
So I take it you'll be wanting to leave immediately.
Almost immediately, yes. I want you to brace all sail, get all of your sailors back aboard ship, and I want you to make haste towards the plane of Issaros as quickly as this vessel is capable, whilst ensuring that all protocols for exiting Citadel are observed and all safety limits are observed while in the radius around Citadel, currently governed by our airspace. Am I clear?
Perfectly, Mom. Perfectly. I'm gonna go get me a booster. He kind of like stumbles over to one side and pulls a chain, and you hear kind of like a bell somewhere distant ringing up a couple of times. So like I'll go get ready for this endeavor. If we'll be departing in he kind of squints at a clock, about an hour.
Excellent. I expect for you to be ready to depart in 45 minutes.
Well, I certainly could, Mom. Certainly could.
Make all preparations. We shall return and expect to depart then.
You have a slight feeling that he seems a little too eager at the 45 minutes than he should be. Potentially as he's about to elicit some sort of malicious compliance.
As I assume we're leaving the room, I'm going to stop, turn back to him, give him a firm look and say, "You had better be ready. Given where we're flying,
I am
given where we're
always
flying,
ready.
I don't want us all to end up dead." I'm going to say it with very domineering presence.
Tempton, have you considered that flying into such a space would require somebody to not be of sound mind?
To not be of a sound mind, there are limits, I suppose.
You cannot guard against chaos, especially when we are sailing towards the Nexus.
Yes.
In fact, it may be a chaotic mind that is best suited, and it might explain why he's
true,
so good.
But that is assumedly true, but there is a difference between having a different senses to the average person and unconsciousness. I say with sort of.
He toasts you with his bottle of alcohol.
And I hope you will find the right line. Otherwise, I'll make you walk across it yourself.
Don't worry, my lord. I'll get you there in one piece and back.
Good.
I assume you've presumably previously given Danis the information about the ship you're taking, or are you going to try leaving without him?
Yeah,
Well,
we've given him the information.
Yeah.
Yep.
We would have passed it on.
Yep. Okay, so.
I imagine us buggering off like that would be not warmly remembered on our return, if we return.
So yes, he arrives. He's suited up for an expedition. He has he's wearing armor. He does have a sword. And he kind of looks at the ship. Is like, this will get us there and back. I hope.
So
And
do
around.
we.
I have full confidence in this pilot. Like me, he is one with unpredictability.
I frown a bit at this, but I'm probably not facing him at the time, so he probably doesn't see it.
Right. Well, I guess I suppose I shall go and claim a cabin.
Would there be an
to
in-flight
repair.
movie?
Uh,
Or perhaps some kind of safety demonstration for emergency exits and so on?
Is that to Danis or is that to someone else?
That's to the captain, and I would hope he would say
well,
no, because
The captain is not. You're probably back outside. The captain has retreated elsewhere to quote unquote get himself ready.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, come now. I know I have no specialist training on the Nexus, but I know if we need to use quote unquote emergency exits, we're already dead.
I'm more talking to the point of how many ways are there to disembark should we need to.
The sides. You don't need any other than the sides. Preferably a parachute.
See, this one has his head on straight.
Well,
On the other
I-
hand,
I guess the question to that point is, can these airships land, or do they just hover?
they can land. It's kind of it's essentially like landing. It's a bit weird, but they make ample use of the fact that this land has very weird gravity at times.
Yeah, so I'm basically just trying to get straight in my head when we get there. How do we transfer from being on the airship to our destination?
It will probably dock alongside. That's the usual way. While things can literally land while maintaining their whole integrity, it is not really advisable, which is why things usually dock in the same way a ship would dock. which is pulling alongside it and attaching yourself to it.
Okay, so there are probably like rope ladders that can be unfurled.
Yes.
Should they need it, right? Okay, fair enough. Cool, that sounds good. I am going to get a window seat, or an open air seat, as the case may be.
Yep.
I'm gonna find a nice quiet corner and sit down with a book.
If you look to
Okay.
your left and your right, you will notice there are no exits.
Okay. So the ship sets off in 45 minutes, blowing through any kind of checks.
Good. Was there like a big cough of black smoke?
Essentially, it's like normally there's like various checks, and like you send a message to the port authority to be like, we are setting off now, yada yada. More like it was essentially like a note was sent, and at which point they just literally kind of like went full steam and like power slid out of the docking area and went full speed towards the Nexus.
Ah, okay, so we Millennium Falconed this.
Yes.
In the event of a crash, death is certain.
Yes.
But also not a problem.
The captain, who is very clearly still drunk, salutes towards you, Ariemna, and say in 45 minutes set off, ma'am.
Right, I'm just calling you Ari from now on because that name is way too long and has too many
Just
consonants in it.
Aria will be fine.
And so it has set out from Citadel at full speed. Constantine, your hair turns purple, and I think there's a good place to call it then. For the first session.
Very good place, yeah. Enjoying it very much.
That was good. Thanks very much, Andy.
So, so next week we will have battles and at high adventure
And low adventure.
and
And
low
middle
adventure.
adventure. Yeah.
We don't get middle adventure.
And medium adventure. Why not?
The adventures of all kinds.
Average adventure.
Mediocre adventure.
Blended adventure.
You did no cackling at all this evening. Richard.
I didn't have
Yeah,
to
that's
cast a
fine.
spell because no one wanted me to talk to the dead.
I did.
Yeah, I did
You
as
don't
well.
count.
Wow. Shots fired.
I definitely count.
Pay me money to do a job, and then you account.
Shall we stop the streaming there then, Nick?